Mello, you gonna have to let him breathe for a second. Okay.
Yeah. Look, I'm down to earth, but I'm living it up. Top floor, cause we came from the mud. Niggas thinking they slowing me up. Making money, I ain't giving a fuck. Me and Milo came up from the jump. Niggas, then I'm making it buck. I remember when I came up, they were turning me down. Now they love me, they fuck with the sounds. Too bad they never gon' see me around. I'm in the, give me the, we in the, I never miss when I'm making a hit. Got my aim on point, you dig. Put my niggas on, now we live. Can't stop till we all get rich.
So the first one that we have right now is the British pound against Canadian dollar, right? Um, so the first thing that we normally do is figure out the structure. People might be confused, like, why aren't you starting the daily time frame or weekly or whatever? The thing is, we're not trying to swing for like months or whatever, right? So we're just gonna start with the 4-hour time frame. And the first thing that we have to do is figure out our structure. So for beginners, I'm just gonna highlight everything now, the current market. So you may agree this is the current market, right? Within the zone. So what I do first is get my structure, which consists of like a support and a resistance, uh, something like that, right? So that's the support, and we have our resistance here. So in terms of connecting your touches, usually when the structure is fully formed, I start with like the third touch or the last touch. So basically backwards. So it will look something like that. Even that's not perfect, it's fine. So I zoom in. We're still in the 4-hour time frame. So right now we have figured out our structure, and just hold on. So this is our structure right here. As you can see, we had a few touches on. We're gonna consider this as a touch, second touch, and the third touch. So usually in a ascending structure like this, um, what we look for is the price to, yo, that looks mad ugly. Hold on. Let me get my drawing straight. So we look for a rejection at the third touch, followed by like a correction so we can swing to the downside, right? So that's what we look for in an ascending structure like this one. And the opposite goes for like a descending structure. In a descending structure, you would uh definitely have, let me just illustrate it out, let me just show it. So you would have a descending structure like that. This is your support, your resistance of the structure. So usually we'll be eyeing the third touch, which has the highest probability, as many of you guys know. So once a rejection happens right there to the upside, what we're anticipating is the correction that's gonna follow, right? So it's the same concept, whether it's a descending structure, ascending structure. And what I mean by that, whether it's a bullish structure or a bearish structure. Okay, so now we have the rejection on the third touch, right? As you can see, the price rejected to the downside, which is very clear. And from this point, we're just gonna scale down to the hourly time frame to see what really happened and what is basically forming. So you guys can see that, cool. This is our impulse to the downside. Here we have the market just going sideways, right? And that is by definition a correction. So what you do is usually you try to spot your support and resistance of the correction or flag, right? And remember, I usually start from the end to basically backwards, right? So this is a clear correction. It's really flat. It's a very horizontal flag, which is like an obvious scenario. You can literally see this is a bearish correction, right? So right now you need to somehow count your touches, right? In this case of a bearish correction, while looking for like sell setups, right? So in order to spot a sell setup, you need to trade the third touch on your trend line, right? Which is the highest probability. So in this case, you need to see how the structure is moving, right? Usually I would use a line chart to really see my touches, right? And the formation of this whole structure. So as you can see, the price went down, went up, creating our first touch right there, went down, went back up. That's the second touch, and on to the third one, right? So this method really helps me to figure out which touch is which. As you can see, this is the first one, even though it's like kind of uh, a double top or whatever. I count this as one touch according to the actual formation of this whole correction, right? So this is my second touch, and we have our third touch right there. So change back to this type of chart, and this really helped me to figure out which is which. So I'm just gonna quickly erase all of that and get back to the business right here. So this is our let me just highlight it. Third touch right there. So now we know what we're working with, right? We know what we're working with. We're working with from this point right here. So this is where we're gonna base our sales from this point. So usually how I would enter, right? I would enter after a few candlesticks, right? So as you can see in this case, we had a nice rejection candlestick, right? A reversal candlestick right here. Perfect. Followed by a bearish candlestick. So this is very important. Two bearish candlesticks in a row for me is confirmation enough uh, to sell, right? So I would sell after the second candlestick when it closes. So basically the third candlestick, which is this one. So my opening will be right there, and I will trail down and just trail it to the any of the target points, right? But this is how it look. Go back to the hour time frame because I was in the 30-minute time frame. So as you can see, this pair has so much potential for a sell, right? But then this would probably be um the first target area, right? So that's how it would look. A sell from that point to here, which is roughly 2%. It's That's quite a lot. Most traders wouldn't even like hold to that point. Um, I wouldn't even hold to that point personally because there might be cases where the price just moves very slow and like in a correction, right? So it could do this until it reaches that point, which will probably take weeks or whatever, days. But this is the setup with the British pound against Canadian dollar. Cool, cool, cool. So we can move on from this one. So this is the overall structure of it. It's cool. But remember, you need to follow the confirmation um candlesticks, reversals, whatever, to confirm that it's actually selling and not buying, right? So you need to pay attention to that.